close your eyes and bow your heads. Embrace God within your hearts. Speak to that Lord with love and devotion, faith and belief. My Lord, thank you for everything that you have given to me. Thank you for the health, the strength, and the happiness. As I continue to place myself at your lotus-like feet, let us all pray. Universe, you are the mother of this world. Ma, continue to light within me, continue to shine within me, continue to remove all the darkness and the obstacles from within me. Mahalakshmi, continue to light externally around me. Let there be your light, your wisdom and guidance. Placing ourselves at your lotus-like feet, O Mahalakshmi, let us all pray. Om Siddhi Buddhi Prane Devi Mukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Murti Sada Lakshmi Namostute Lakshmi Karotu Kalyanam Arogyam Sukha Sampadam Mama Shatru Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute बोल सियापति रामचंद्र की
जय।
पवन पुत्र हनुमान की
जय।
आदि शक्ति महामाता की
जय।
जय. Devotees of God, wherever you are, wherever you live, wherever you are sitting, please stay with us and enjoy this wonderful and this beautiful program. Very inspiring indeed. For today, devotees, I am here to bring to you a very beautiful discourse from the Sri Ramcharitmanas. A discourse, devotees, that our forefathers brought with them. We must cherish their memories for the effort and for that strong willpower that they all made to step that first foot into that boat to come to Trinidad and Tobago. We are fortunate, very, very fortunate enough, devotees of God. Before I continue, I'll hand over to the group to bring to you very beautiful and meaningful bhajans. Over to you.
Kamal
Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jati Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Mata Jati Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Janti Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tera Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tera Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. Gurvan ko bhog lage, Gurvan ko bhog lage, Sant kare seva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Janti Parvati, Pita Mahadeva. एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजधारी. एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजधारी. माथे सिंदूर सोही मुस्की सवारी. माथे सिंदूर सोही मुस्की सवारी. दुखियों का हरण देवा, परमानंद देवा. दुखियों करम देवा, परमानंद देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. नंदन को आकृत कोहिन को काया. नंदन को आकृत कोहियन को काया. भंजन को पुत्र देता, निर्धन को माया. भंजन को पुत्र देता, निर्धन को माया. दोष पार करो नाथ, दोष पार करो नाथ, भजन करो सेवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. माता जगि पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. हर चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा. हर चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा. सूरदास चरण आयो, सुफल करो सेवा. सूरदास चरण आयो, सुफल करो सेवा. हे देवा कृपा करो, हे देवा कृपा करो, कष्ट हरो देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. माता जगि पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. माता जगि पार्वती, पिता महादेवा. माता जगि पार्वती, पिता महादेवा.
बोल सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. Devotees of God, Bhagavan, blessings to each and every one of you, wherever you are, wherever in this world, whichever country you are. Devotees, Indian Arrival Day is very near and dear within my heart. And I would like to say probably near and dear in your heart. Our forefathers, they had the courage, they had the strength, they had the willpower to leave that land of India to come to Trinidad and Tobago. They come in search of chini, sugar, sweet. And coming to this land, the Trinidad and Tobago devotees, we are blessed for those who remain on this land. We are blessed because we are here enjoying what they all worked and what they all built and what they all toiled the land, bare feet, little to eat. And can you imagine a language that they spoke compared to the language that the British speak to them? But one thing they had to give them courage on a daily basis is the Ramayana. For they knew Hindi well. And they would read the Ramayana, they will sing the bhajans, and they got comfort. And that keep them alive, day in and day out. Today, I must say how privileged I am that I am one of the granddaughter of my Aja who came from India. My Aja picture is in front of me here. And I also got his ID card, and it states that he born in 1887. 1887. And coming to Trinidad and Tobago devotees, I am one of his granddaughter. I am also blessed by Bhagwan that I can read Hindi. So today, I am privileged enough. I am privileged and I'm blessed, and I must say, Bhagwan, thank you, so that I can sit here and I can read and I can explain to you, devotees, wonderful devotees of God. And I'm reading from the Sri Ramcharitmanas. I'm reading from Uttarakhand. And this Ramayana book that I have here, this Ramayana book is probably over 100 years. It's so old. But I'm reading from Uttarakhand. And I'm reading from the Doha. I'm starting from 149. 149 Doha from Uttarakhand. And so many years, thousands of years ago, Ramayana was written. And today, devotees, I am going to bring to you a katha from Uttarakhand. And Uttarakhand katha, devotees, is explaining to us what is happening now in the age of Kali Yuga. And that was written thousands of years ago. Let us hear, devotees, in the first Doha from Uttarakhand. Suno kage shakali kapataha damba dvesha pakande olama damba dvesha pakande mana moha maraj mad vyapi rahe brahman o Rama vyapi rahe brahman Sriyavadi Ramachandra ji ki jai sharanam shankar hari om jai jai Siya Ram. Sri Ram is speaking Uttarkand. In this Kand, the Lord got up and he is speaking to Garuda ji. He said, Suno Garuda ji, Kali Yuga mein kapat, dhamb, dvesh, pakand, man, moha, काम, मद, आदि जगत व्याप रहे हैं. What he says in English, he says, Guruji, I want you to listen. I don't want you to hear, but I want you to listen. You see, in the age of Kali Yuga, there are certain principles, there are certain things that you will see and you will hear. What is the first he said? He said kapat. He said there will be a lot of lie. Some people lie so much until they believe they're talking the truth. They believe that they are still speaking the truth and they are lying. He says that is one of the quality there. He says dhamb. Dhamb is self-righteous. Self-righteous means, devotees, that you are always right, never wrong. Whether it's right, it's right, and whether it's wrong, it's still right. Rama in Katha. He says dvesh. Dvesh is to be hostile. And we see that all the time. Pakand, this is a word that we hear from our forefather, our nani, nana, aji. Pakand, you are too much a trick. You're living in a world today and everybody is trying something. Pakand, too much tricks. Man, proud. We are proud. Proud about what? Proud of material things? Proud about what? Everything in this world God has given to us. He has given to us for us to use, not to misuse. Bhagwan has given us so many beautiful things for us to enjoy, not to be proud about. Don't be proud about the material things, devotees, because one day it is here and the next moment it's gone. So you have to take away that. Man, then some people will say, Abhiman. Moha, the dullness. Dull-witted. Kam, that lust. That is happening today also. Kam. Mad, pride. So many pride. What you have pride about? Adi Jagat. Adi means superior. Adi Jagat. And Jagat is this world or this universe. So Sri Ram is saying to Guruji, he says, in this world, in this universe, this is what you are going to see and this is what you are going to hear. He says, Vyap rahe hai. Vyap means that is what will pervade. Vyap, it is so nice, it doesn't matter what, it is a little difficult to explain a Hindi word. But I'm trying. So Vyap means to pervade, and this is what you will see all about. You will see it in your homes, you will see it in the village, you will see it in society, you will see it in country, and if you go to another country, you will also see it. And Sri Ram is saying, this is what will pervade the world, the Jagat. Adi Jagat. Let us hear in this other doha what happens. Tamasa dharma kare sab jap tap maka vratadar o Rama jap tap maka vratadar devan vaishya dharane par gaye raja mai dhyan o Rama bhaye raja mai कर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम. Sri Ram continues devotees. He says, Manush sab dharma. Manush means the human race, not only man alone. Sab dharma. He says all. All. Sab means all. All of the human race, he says. Very beautiful. You have to do your moral duty. But what he continues to say is the moral duty is jap, tap, yagya, vrat, dhan, tamasi, karte hai. Karte here means to do. To do. And he says the jap and the tap and the yagya and the vrat and the dhan, it is done in the age of Kali Yuga in a tamasic way. It is not done in a sattvic way. It is done in a tamasic way. So let us go with jap. Jap means to jap, to recite the name of God. Not only to sit by your altar or sit near the murtis, but whatever you are doing, you make time to call the name of God. You make time to say Ram, Sri Ram, and keep reciting whenever you get the time. You keep reciting the name of Ram. That is jap, to do jap. And when the time is right, devotees, you can sit by your altar. You could sit in front of your picture. You could sit in front of your light and diya and close your eyes and keep reciting the name of Sri Ram. How many times you can. But remember, it must be done in a sattvic way. According to Uttarkand, these things will be done in a tamasic way. What tamasic means? Tamasic means that when you are doing it, you are not doing it fully. You are not doing it with a pure mind, with a pure heart. You are not concentrating enough. You have to put all your effort and keep thinking, yes, it is difficult. It is difficult in the age of Kali Yuga, but you have to keep trying and get out of the tamasic way. He says, tap. What is tap? You have jap and you have tap. So to jap is to keep reciting the name. But what is tap? Tapas. Tapas here means when you sit, you try to burn out all the negativity through the jap. So you are burning, but how you are burning? You're not looking for fire. But you are burning, meaning that you are discarding. When you start japping the name of God, what happened? You start sending out all the negative. That is the tap. You burn it away. You sending it away. Internally, you are getting rid of those negative thoughts. In thoughts, words, and deeds. And this is tap. He says yagya. Yagya means the sacrifice. And every one of us, we all make sacrifice in life. We make sacrifice through pujas. We make sacrifice in our homes with our families. We make sacrifice in our jobs. We make sacrifice in our whole life. But Sri Ram is saying, make it in a pure way, not in a tamasic way. He says in the age of Kali Yuga, these will be in a tamasic way. So Sri Ram is warning us, although it will be in the age of Kali Yuga, yet he is warning us, do it in a sattvic way and not in a tamasic way. Do it in a pure way and not in an impure way. Whatever sacrifice you do it and it's done. Don't look back for anything in return. One of the yagya I always say to people, whenever there's a death in a home, in a family, and I am invited there to do a satsang, one of the things I mentioned to the audience, I said, this evening, you have done a yagya. You have performed a yug to the beautiful audience that is sitting there. They have performed a yug. They have come to the home of that person who is in sorrow and distress, who have lost a loved one. And that person did not come for the beautiful decor. That person did not come for the prasad. That person did not come for the food. That person comes simple. They have sacrificed their time. That is the yajna. They have sacrificed their families. They have sacrificed for 2 or 3 hours away from their home and families to come with a family who is in distress and sorrow. That is one of the greatest yajna. That is a great sacrifice that each person will make to go where there is a death in a family, in that home, when there is satsang. Devotee Sri Ram continues. He says, Vrat. What is Vrat? Vrat means a vow. Vrat, dhan. Dhan means a charity. So when you make Vrat Dhan, you make a vow to give charity. And when you make that vow, some people say they make a promise. So when you make that vow or that promise to do charity, do it in a pure way, not in a tamasic way, not in an impure way. So you are doing Vrat Dhan. And what is Vrat Dhan? Vrat Dhan is giving of clothes, giving of food, giving of shelter. So many things. Vrat Dhan. It is not only making a promise to do puja, but is a charity where there is a need. A Vrat Dhan can be also to animals. That also is charity. A Vrat Dhan can also be a person who can sit and listen to another person's problems and sorrows. But bear in mind that be careful who you tell your problems and sorrows, because you don't know if they will share it like Parsan. That's another point there. But Vrat Dhan is a charity where there is a need. Sri Ram is saying to us, the other one he's saying, tamasik karte hai. He says, as I said before, the karte means you do it in a tamasic way. So devotees, this katha is to let you know, if before you used to do it like that, here Ramayana is teaching us, stop. And do it in the age of Kali Yuga in a sattvic way. Sri Ram continues, he said, isi karan made prithvi par nahi barasata aur bhoge हुए धान भी नहीं जमते. This is a very beautiful line. Huh? You know what Sri Ram is saying? He's saying, isi karan. Isi means that reason. He says that reason, what happened? Made. Made means the cloud. What kind of cloud? He's saying the rain clouds. In the age of Kali Yuga, you see all these, what I outlined earlier, these we must do in sattvic, pure way. He said, for if you do it in a tamasic way, he says, for that reason, the rain clouds, he says, will send rain. Varasta. Varasta is rain. And he says, he will send that rain to Prithvi. Prithvi is to the earth, par is on, and it will send it on the earth. Aur bhoge hua dhan. Dhan, do you remember dhan box? Who remember dhan box? Krish? You remember dhan box? Yes, your father right across there. And I'm sure a lot of people who are listening to me will know a dhan box. A dhan box is where you will plant the rice and you will beat the rice and dry the rice, and there's a box you call the dhan box. Omkar, do you know of that? No. Omkar is very young. A dhan box is a big wood box, not so? A big, huge wood box. And you will bring that dhan and put it in there. And I think right now when there's a wedding, you have to get dhan to pachlawa. Am I correct? Yes. So that rice, that parit rice that you will take to pach the lava, that's dhan. Now you know what I'm speaking about. You know what Sri Ram is speaking about. So Sri Ram is saying, he says, dhan bhi nahi jamata. He says that now in the age of Kali Yuga, he said the seeds, that dhan is the seeds. He says seeds will not grow. It will not grow. Isn't that happening today? Sometimes you plant seed. Krish, do you gardening? You plant the seed and for months the seed didn't grow. Yes. Uttarakhand. And Sri Ram continues. He says, what is the reason? He says, the reason is all these that mankind is practicing, they are not practicing it in the sattvic or the pure way. They are practicing it in the tamasic way. Ina Maraj is not saying it. Rama in Katha, Uttarakhand, Sri Ram speaks. Let us hear, devotees, in this chaupai, what happens. श्रेयों के पास बाल मात्र ही भूषण और बड़ी भूख है। लोग धन ना होने से बहुत दुखी है, परंतु ममता बहुत है। मूर्ख सुख तो चाहते हैं, परंतु धर्म में प्रीति नहीं करते। टोरी मटी है वहां भी कठोर है, जिससे कमलता नहीं। This Chaupai devotee is very beautiful. He says what the word Shri. Shri here means woman. Look, it's right here. Shri. Shri means woman. He said woman will no longer, and I'm smiling, will no longer have something. Bal matra. Bal is here. Bal mat means long hair. So I am smiling because I have short hair. It says in the age of Kali Yuga, it will be difficult for women, Shri, to have long hair. And he also says, Bhushan. Bhushan is ornaments, jewels. In the age of Kali Yuga, you will hardly see people wearing jewels. What kind of jewels? Gold. Gold. Because in the age of Kali Yuga, devotees, gold is very expensive. But gold in itself, devotees, if you do a research into gold, gold has a strong energy. That is why when you are doing pujas, if you go back or you do a research into Satyug and Treta and Dwapar, in those days they used to use pure gold. Pure gold. Because pure gold has an energy, a positive vibration. But in Kali Yuga, you will see the gold, but it's not pure gold. Like for instance, the Tarya. It looks like gold. And if you look at some of the murtis, it looks like gold. But Sri Ram is saying, he said, Bhushan, the ornaments, the jewel, he says. He says, the women, you will hardly see them wearing that. He says, Bhari bhuk hai. There's a word called bara. Bara means huge, enormous. But when you're speaking about the female, you use the word bhari. It says bhuk. What is bhuk? It says the woman in the age of Kali Yuga, they will always be hungry. They will have a big appetite. They will always be hungry. लोग धन ना होने बहुत दुख है. What is धन? धन is हे अन्न धन की महारानी हो जय लक्ष्मी रानी. हे अन्न धन की महारानी. धन, they want money. They want money. Devotees, please don't get against me, I'm reading from the scriptures. In the age of Kali Yuga, women will only want money. The more they have is the more they will want. He says, bahut, but you see that will only bring on happiness to them. Dukhi hai, parantu, mamata. They will have the love in a bahut way, in a big, big, big way. Murk sukto, chahate hai. Chahate means to want, he says. Murk, oh fool, you are thinking like a fool. Parantu dharma se priti nahi. He says, don't you know you're a fool? Because that will not give you something. That will not give you priti. It will not give you joy. It will not give you happiness. Devotees, I am not saying don't have the money. I am not saying, Sri Ram is not saying don't have the money, don't have the wealth. But in the age of Kali Yuga, if you allow that money or that wealth to go over you, what happens is you will not get happiness. It will only bring dukh, sadness to you. He says, Tori mati hai vaha bhi kator. Kator means it's not as even plain enough. Hey, jisse komalta nahi. He says very beautiful. He says that they are attached to the things and they become restless. How true is that? Sometimes you want this and you want that and you want the other. And when you accumulate all of that, what happens? You become restless. Sri Ram is speaking. He says there will be no respect for parents and no respect for God. In the age of Kali Yuga, O mankind, Sri Ram speaks. He says, foolish enough, poor in knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Is it academic knowledge? Sri Ram is speaking about spiritual knowledge. He says their minds or their thoughts don't know anything. Komal. Their minds and their thoughts is not soft. It is not tender enough. Are we seeing how people move in today? Are we seeing what is happening in the world today? Just look out and see. Just look out and see what is happening. Sometimes you ask the question, but these people, they have a heart like a stone. They're doing what they want. They're saying what they want. They're taking lives as they want. Human lives, sometimes we have to say, it is nothing to some of them. Meaning, their hearts are not soft. Sri Ram is speaking, and he's speaking that within, a woman, her heart's supposed to be soft, As a female, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter-in-law, as a daughter, as a niece. By nature, devotees, we're supposed to be caring and kind and soft. We're supposed to have that motherly touch, that motherly hug. But Sri Ram is saying, in the age of Kali Yuga, Shri, woman, think before you act. Let us hear in the other chaupai what happens. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Nara apire droga na bhoga kahi, abhiman virodha akara nahi. Jaya Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Nara apire droga na bhoga kahi, abhiman virodha akara nahi. Latu jivan sana vata vachadasha kalapatana nasha gumana asha. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Nar. Nar means man. So we spoke, the first chaupai is the woman. Says, Rogo pidit hai, bhog sukh kahi bhi nahi. Abhiman vair vina, karan ki sabke karte hai. Tora झीना 5 वर्ष का कलियुग में होगा, परंतु अहंकार ऐसा कि कल 5 से भी हमारे नाश नहीं होगा। वह मनुष्यों का लड्डू जीवन होगा है। Here Sri Ram speaks. He says, the man, he is Pidit. Pidit is the victim. He is that victim of food. Man love food. They love to eat. He says, Bhog, Sukh kahi bhi nahi. He says, and that same food that he loves, he says, what happened? He says, that food, devotees, he will feel happy eating the food. But what the food will bring me? He said, Abhiman ve bina karan. He says, they will have their own view. And they will argue with others without a cause. You see, Abhiman ve bina karan. He says without a cause man will argue. No, Sri Ram is not blaming the man, but he is saying argue with a cause. Be conscious in what you are saying. But he says they argue without a cause. Then Sri Ram continues, he says, Tora jhina, he says, dash panch. Panch is 5. And dash is 10. So he says that Tora jina. What is Tora jina? He says Tora jina means life will be short. Tora, Tora. Little, little. He says life will be short in the age of Kali Yuga. And this might be surprising. Kali Yuga now start, devotees. Kali Yuga now start. Sri Ram is saying in Uttarakhand, he says, what is the age of man now? 5 or 10. 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years, he's saying. He says, and they will have that ahankar, they will have that ego within them, thinking that they will live forever and they would live for long. Some men believe that. Some people believe that they would live for long. But it's only when age starts to catch up. They say, oh my gosh. But they look into the mirror. Tora manadhar pan kahlai. When you look in that mirror, what happened? And you start to see the whole change of your body. Then you start to realize, what have I done? He says, the ahankar, the ego, he says. But remember, you have an ego which is a desire. And you have a positive ego, and you also have a negative ego. But what Sri Ram is saying, that the negative ego, the ahankar, in the age of Kali Yuga, thinking that you would be living forever and forever. And what he says, Hamara nash nahi. What is nash? Nash is destruction. He says, nahi, not believing that destruction will come. And not believing that destruction will come, he says, hoga, manushyoka, laghu. What is laghu? Laghu is the end. The end, he says, laghu jivan hoga. The end of your life, the end of this life will come. Laghu. Sri Ram is warning us, devotees. So if you think Kali Yuga, and I am speaking from Ramayana, I'm reading from the Sri Ramcharitmanas, this is what will come to pass. As we continue, devotees, he says, in the other chaupai, let us hear what happens. सतयुग के एक नाटक बताए, गिरिजा सुख की कथा सुनाए। जय राम श्री राम, जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम,
जय जय राम।
करिहाल विहाल किए मनुजा, नहीं मानक अनुज तनुजा।
श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
नहीं तो शरीर चान शीतलता, सब जाति को Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama, Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama. कलिकाल ने मनुष्यों को विहाल कर रखा है। कोई बेटी बहन को नहीं मानता, संतोष विचार शीतलता किसी से नहीं रही, सब जाति कुजाति मांगता हो गया। Devotees, this Chaupai, Sri Ram is saying, he's saying, in the age of Kali Yuga, there is Vihal. Vihal is change. He's saying change. You will see changes in the age of Kali Yuga. He says, Raka. Raka is that change. Whatever remains there, the rest is change. He says, and what is the change that we are seeing in the age of Kali Yuga? He said, Koi beti bahin nahi manta. He says that you will have no respect for one's daughter. You will have no respect for one's sister. And there are so many changes, devotees, that are taking place in the age of Kali Yuga. Nahi. Devotees, at this time, devotees, they say, Manta. We need to control ourselves. Manta means control. We need to control our senses, Sri Ram is speaking. And the changes in Kali Yuga, we have seen it many times. I am sure that I spoke about changes in my kathas already. Devotees, when you look around, you will see so many changes. The changes is happening so fast in front of our eyes. We accept it. Too many changes are taking place. I am not saying change is not good. Sri Ram is not saying change is not good. But there are certain things, devotees, we must not change. And one of the things that I love to say, and I'm going to say it again, and probably in my discourse in the future I'll continue to say it, is the PVC pipe that people are taking to put up a jandi. That PVC pipe, devotees, do not have a mantra. When Baba comes to your home, he's looking for the bamboo. That bamboo has a mantra, not the PVC pipe. I am not here to be sarcastic or anything. I'm not here to tell you the truth. And this is one of the changes. There's another change that is taking place in front of us. When you go to yags and all these pujas and whatever, we are seeing plastic flowers. You are even seeing it in funerals. I am saying what I have seen. Devotees, it is even better, it is even greater for you to pick a simple flower and take a needle and a thread and make a beautiful mala with fresh flowers. That fresh flowers represents something. The fresh flowers represents love. It represents peace. But when you offer the other kind, society accept. And these are some of the changes, devotees. I can go on and on and on, but there is so many. And Sri Ram is speaking, he's saying the age of Kali Yuga. He's saying these are the changes. He says the respect is no more. To the daughters and to the sisters, he says, control. You need to control your senses. He says, contentment, santosh. Have you ever heard of the Devi name Santoshima? There's a movie, Santoshima, Santosh. जहाँ वहाँ कहाँ कहाँ मत पूछो वहाँ वहाँ हे संतोषी माँ अपनी संतोषी माँ अपनी संतोषी माँ. Where is the Santosh Mandir? Where is the Santoshi Ma Mandir? The Santoshi Ma Mandir is this body. Santoshi Ma reside within you because contentment is within you. Enjoy what you have and continue to work again and accumulate again by the right means. Be content in the moment. Santosh. विचार शीतलता किसी में नहीं रहे सब चाहती है. Sri Ram continues to say, he says vichar, he says that thought. He says that thought, that idea, that vichar means a thought or an idea. He said that thought or an idea, he says, sometimes the word comes in here, he says, shitalta. Shital means to be cold. Have you ever said to yourself, I have a thought, but it's cold, cold thought. Probably it doesn't have a vibration, it doesn't have an energy in it. He says again, nahi. Then he continues, he says, people of all caste. You see the word caste comes in here. The word jati. Jati means caste. He said of all caste, and he continues to say, jati kujati. So whether you are of a high caste, or whether kujati means a low, kujati is low. So whether you are of a low caste, he's saying everyone is taken to begging. We are all beggars into the eyes of God. Yes, we all are beggars in the eyes of God. Because when you pray, you are asking God for health, strength, happiness, and you are asking God even for your extended families. But here it is, Sri Ram says, Mangata. He says, everyone is asking, begging. As he continues, let us hear what this other Chaupai says. सतयुग के एक नाट बताए गिरिजा सुख की कथा सुनाए सतयुग के एक नाट बताए गिरिजा सुख की कथा सुनाए ईर्षा पुरुषा चल लोलुपता पारी पूरी रही समता विगता सतयुग गीत नाट बताए गिरजा सुख की कथा सुनाए
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
सब रोग वियोग शियोग आए, वर्षा मधुरमा आचर गाए, सब लोग वियोग शोक गाए। सब लोग वियोग विशोक आए, वर्षा मधुरमा आचर गाए, सदियों का एक नाथ बताए, गिरिजा सुख की कथा सुनाए, गिरिजा सुख की कथा सुनाए। ईशा कटोरटा, चल और अति, लोभादि परिपूर्ण हो रहे हैं और समता था, जाते रही सब लोग वियोग और शोक में मारे गए और वर्ण वे आचार जाते हैं। Sri Ram says very beautiful. He says, in the age of Kali Yuga, he says, harsh words. He says words that are, there's a local language, stinging words. In Ramayana Katha, Mata Kaikeyi gave harsh words. She gave stinging words. Some people will say, it's better that you hit me than to give me hurtful words. Devotees, hurtful words don't ever go away. It remains within you. And no matter how many years pass, when you see that person comes again, you remember those hurtful words. Sri Ram is saying in the age of Kali Yuga, you will get a lot of those harsh, cruel words, he says. Envy. You will get envy. And there's a beautiful one here that says, he says, Ati Lobhadi. Ati Lobhadi. Ati means over. Over. And Lobhadi means greedy. So it says here, Ati Lobhadi. It says they will have a lot of over greedy people. Have you ever met up with somebody? They're not hungry. Belly full. But when they pass in the road by some colored building and they smell it, they still want to eat. You call that Ati Lobhadi. They're over greedy. Belly full, but they still want to eat. They still want more food. Sri Ram says in the age of Kali Yuga, this is some type of people that you will see. He says, Paran paripurna ho rahe hai aur samata jati rahe hai. He says, all the people, sab log. He says, even of the different castes, the jati, he says, even them also will be ati lobhati, over greedy. But what he says again, he says, shok se mare gaye aur varnan. What is shok? Shok is worries. When you overeat, when you're over greedy, you must have worries because you cannot breathe properly. You cannot sit properly. You cannot sleep properly. He says, what happens? Mare. Mare means you will die. It means you will die. There's a very beautiful statement, devotees of God. Let thy food be thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food. You eat until your stomach sends that message. The artery that is connected from your stomach to your brain will send a message that the stomach is hungry. And when the stomach is full, the same artery will send the message from the stomach to the brain, says, stop, I'm filled. Many a times we devotees, what Sri Ram is saying, in the age of Kali Yuga, we don't pay attention. He says, what he says, as he continues devotees. He says, in this way, conduct yourself. He says, remember, you only suffer and die. He said, what happens also? He said, viyogya. He says, then separation will come. Separation will come from who? Separation will come from you and your families. He says, always remember, achara jata raha. Achar jata raha. He says, practice good conduct. Good conduct, and good conduct in thoughts, words, and deeds throughout your whole life. Throughout your whole life. We will have 2 bhajans again, and then we will continue.
Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Hina Characharam Tatparam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sab mein keval prema pradhan Sab mein keval prema pradhan Prema pradhan Prabhu prema pradhan Prema pradhan Prabhu prema pradhan Sab mein keval prema pradhan Sab mein keval prema pradhan प्रेम करत प्रीतम सो निस दिन प्रेम करत प्रीतम सो निस दिन प्रेमी चतुर सुजान प्रेमी चतुर सुजान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान ओ सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान क्यों नर करत परिश्रम अधिक ही क्यों नर करत परिश्रम अधिक ही बहुपत बहुव्रत तप कर दान बहुव्रत तप कर दान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान प्रीति करो श्री ब्रजनंदन सो प्रीति करो श्री ब्रजनंदन सो यही परम प्रिय ज्ञान ओ यही प्रथम प्रिय ज्ञान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान कह रघुवीर मिटाए जब आप कह रघुवीर मिटाए जब आप तब ही मिले भगवान तब ही मिले भगवान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान प्रेम प्रधान प्रभु प्रेम प्रधान प्रेम प्रधान प्रभु प्रेम प्रधान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान ओ सब में केवल प्रेम प्रधान
सरस्वती मन पावन पुनि पुनि कीर्तन हो सुनी सुना हिया की प्यास बुझत न बुझा जबहु सुदशरथ अजिर बिहारी मंगल भवन अमंगल आरी द्रवहु सुदशरथ अजिर बिहारी सीताराम चरित अति पावन मधुर सरसरु अति मन भावन चौपाई जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय जय राम जान दिया कहीं जान पती नहीं जान पती जय जा पर पांच गाई पिराने जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम तनो पोषका
राम जय जय
राम जय जय राम। इंद्रों का जीतना ध्यान धया चतुर्या नहीं जरा था और पर पांच कथा बहुत है। Sri Ram continues devotees as he continue to speak about in the age of Kali Yuga. He continues, he says that the four stages of life, which is the Varna. Varna means the four stages of life. And what are the four stages of life? The Brahmachari, the Grahas, the Vampas, and the Sannyas. These four stages of life, devotees, we cannot skip. In life, devotees, first of all, you must learn. Brahmachari, you must learn. Academic, spiritual. And from learning of the Brahmachari stage, then you go in the Graha stage. You cannot enter into the Graha stage without having the knowledge, academic knowledge and spiritual knowledge. If for some reason you enter into the Graha stage without those knowledge, devotees, then the Graha stage will be poor. It will be a little chaos because you do not have the spiritual knowledge and the academic knowledge to carry out the Graha stage. The Graha stage in your life, devotees, is very important. That is this householder stage. That is where you will have a wife, a partner, a husband. There is where you will bring forth children. And that is a difficult stage because that is where you have to balance your life. After entering into that second stage of life, that Varna, then you enter into the Vanpras. Vanpras is where you start to detach certain things from your life. You start to give up certain responsibilities to the children to carry out. And their devotees, you enter into the sannyas. In the age of Kali Yuga, devotees, these Varna, the four stages of life. But the sannyas stage is one of the most difficult stage to reach. Because in that stage you have to give up everything. And in the age of Kali Yuga, devotees, that stage is most difficult. Even the Vanpras stage, if you don't know what you are doing in that stage, and you gave up everything, you don't know what can happen. Sri Ram continues in the age of Kali Yuga. I did mention before that at the end of the age of Kali Yuga, the human race will be 5 and 10 years old. Change I spoke about is happening. And on this point, at this part, I want to bring to you, devotees of God, wherever you are, whatever part of the world you are, sitting or lying and listening, devotees, I want you to pay attention to this part. Are you seeing the changes in the fruit trees? Are you seeing the changes in the vegetables? Are you seeing the changes in the fruits and the roots and the shoots that we, the human race, partake of? It is happening and it is there. Look at the citrus. Look at the orange. You plant an orange tree in a small pot and you are having oranges. All these fruits, roots, and shoots, I want you to watch carefully, devotees. All these things are bearing from a very short time. What that is teaching us? That is teaching us, devotees, that you will not have tall trees anymore. All these trees will be short. Why? Because the age span of the human race is getting shorter. And because the age span of the human race is getting shorter, even the height of the human race will also be shorter. If you go back, if you do a research, when Sri Ram and Krishna, when they walked earth, how old they were. Very old. They lived many years. How tall? They were very tall. Now, the lifespan and the height of the human race is getting less and less. Is it safe to say that the fruit trees and the vegetables and all these things that is happening now, it is preparing the human race for when they have become shorter in size and age span is less? Think about it. It's food for thought. Their devotees. Sri Ram continues. He says, Indriyo ka jitna. Jitna means to control. He says, control your senses. Control the indriyo. Have you ever seen the chariot and Bhagavad Gita? Krishna Bhagwan, Arjun. He's saying, oh Arjun, hold the range of the horses. Each one of the range or each one of the rope or each one of the horse represent the senses within the human body. Krishna Bhagwan is saying in Bhagavad Gita, hold on to the senses and don't let the horses get away. Don't let your senses lead you astray. Control your senses, meaning control what you eat. Control the time that you eat, and most of all, control the amount you eat. Control the things that you hear. People will say a lot of things. They will bring a lot of news and they will say a lot of things. Sometimes I hear a lot of things about me. A lot of negative and a lot of positive. To tell you the truth, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you will hear a lot of things. Control the things that you must hear. Control the words that you speak. A spoken word is like a sent arrow. Once the word is gone, you cannot take it back. The most you can say, I'm sorry, forgive me. Sorry and forgive me cannot work. Devotees, I do not forget and I do not forgive. I do not forget and I do not forgive. The only person who has to forgive and forget is Bhagwan, God. I do not have that authority. Because I cannot say, I forget you and I forgive you. And when you send harsh words or hurtful words to me, when I see you, I remember it again. It means I did not forget and I cannot forgive. So be careful of the words that you send, because those words can come back and destroy you. Karma, the hand of karma is very long. The hand of karma is very long. You do something here in Trinidad and Tobago, no matter what part of the world you go, the karma will reach you. If you enter in Patalok, under the earth, karma will reach you. If you enter deep into the ocean, karma will reach you. No matter what part of the universe you go, karma reaches you. Control your senses. Sri Ram is speaking. He says, Dan, Daya. He says, always give charity. I spoke about that earlier. Dan, give charity in whatever and whichever way you can. Give it and leave it alone. Do not look back for anything in return. Daya, he says. Daya, devotees, is a very beautiful word. Daya is saying the charity, and daya is compassion and understanding. We must practice daya. And if we are already performing compassion and understanding, continue. Someone comes to you, try to understand. Someone saying something about another person that is not in the it is in the negative. Try to understand. Some people, devotees, love. They love you to side with them. They love you to side with them when something is wrong, when they are doing wrong. But you must have understanding. Daya, Sri Ram is saying. He continues, devotees. Dan, Daya. He says, you must be clever. Chatur. Chatur is to be wise. Chaturai. There's a beautiful bhajan, you know. Koi लाख करे चतुराई कर्म का ले कमिते न रे भाई कर्म का ले कमिते न रे भाई कोई लाख करे चतुराई कर्म का ले कमिते न रे भाई कर्म का ले कमिते You hear this song a lot of times when someone dies. Chaturai, karamaka. You want to be too wise. You want to be too smart. You think you can trick karma. The answer is no. And Sri Ram continues. He says, be wise, chatur. He said, all these things, none above. He says, none above. He says, you will see in the age of Kali Yuga. You see in the age of Kali Yuga? No. He continues very beautiful. He says, all men and women, Shri, woman. And he said, Nar, man. He says, Purush, he says. He says what they will do. He says, dishonesty, deceiving. We see a lot of that, devotees. He says, the men, the nar, he says they will give portion. The Hindi word is portion. He said portion is nutriments. They will only satisfy the flesh. Whatever they are partaken of is only to satisfy the flesh. They are eating the wrong types of food. They are drinking the wrong types of liquids. And they are only enjoying the nutrients for the flesh. But what are we giving the soul? He says. What are we giving the soul? He says they will parai, they will speak false words. Parai, false words, they will speak. He said, Nind. And you see that will go through the whole of Adi Jagat. It will go through the whole world, he says. Jagat mein pehle hai. Jagat mein pehle. The whole, all through the world. It will spread. The pehle is the spread. And it will spread throughout the whole world. Let us hear in these two final doha. Suno vyalalika kalimala guna agan orama kalimala vagunagan guna ho bahut kalikala kar vinu prayasadiyan Rama Vinu Prayasadi Sarvat Priyapati Ramachandra Ji Ki Jai Sharanam. Krita Yuga Treta Dwapar Puja Makaruyo Shankar Hari Om Jai Shri Shri Ram. हे सर्पों के शत्रु गुरुजी, he is saying, Guruji, listen. यद्यपि यहाँ कराल कलिकाल पाप और अवगुण का घर का, तो भी कलियुग में भरा गुण है, बिना प्रयास निस्तर हो जाता है. He says, Garur, Kali Yuga is the storehouse of Pap. Kali Yuga, this time you will see there's a lot of sin. What is sin? What is Pap? Sin, devotees, or Pap is anything that you do in thoughts, words, and actions that is wrong. Whether it's a little wrong or whether it's a big wrong. Anything that is wrong, that's a sin. In thoughts, words, and actions. But he says, Sri Ram says, in the age of Kali Yuga, this is what you will get rampant. Anywhere you go. Have you ever sit in a setting among people And you hear someone will say, you see me, I'm afraid to talk, If I talk, they go spread it. Have you ever heard that? Even you're afraid to talk. You're afraid to say something. Because you might say the right thing, or you might say the wrong thing. I am going to say something here, which I have noticed many, many, many years ago. When you go to a puja, you go to a wedding, you go to a cooking, you go to hardi, you go to a yagya, Ramayana yag, Gyan yag, Devi yag. Wherever you go, even if you're socializing, same thing. And I want you to observe this. You will always see, in that setting, there's always a circle of the same people sitting down. You cannot separate that. There's a circle of the same people sitting down right there. Sit next to them, and you will hear the conversation. Sit next to them, and you will hear the conversation. That is why I say to people, I say whenever you come to the mandir, whenever you go to a yagya, wherever you go in a puja, and you sit, don't talk. Don't speak. Sit and concentrate on Bhagwan. Don't use that setting to say certain things. Because karma, I mentioned before, the hand of karma is very long. But you know what Sri Ram says? He says, parantu. He says, but it has many, many virtues. In the age of Kali Yuga, he says, Guruji, there are many, many, many virtues. There are many, many great things in the age of Kali Yuga. And the human race, they can escape from the cycle of birth and death. It is easier for them to escape from the cycle of birth and death in the age of Kali Yuga. It is much, much easier. He says, oh Guruji, I am going to tell you how they can escape. He said, Satyuga. That was the first yuga. He says in Satyuga, everything was truth. And everything was pure. He says in Treta, he says Dwapar, he says all those yugya, puja yagya. He says in those 3 yugs, you do puja and you do sacrifice. What he says? He says, yoga se jo gati hoti hai vaha Kali Yuga. What is gati? Gati is salvation. The word is right here. Salvation. He says in the age of Kali Yuga, for you to get salvation, he says, it is so much easier. He says, what it says here? It says, hoti hai vaha Kali Yuga keval. I love this word keval. Keval means only. There is none other. None whatsoever. Sri Ram is saying in Kali Yuga, the only thing that is recommended, he says, Hari ke naam lene se log paate hai. He said the only sacrifice in the age of Kali Yuga, he says, is to repeat the name of Harinam, the name of God. He says, log पाते हैं. He said, "Oh my people, listen. Repeat the name of God." When you listen to Shabri Katha, Bhakti, I mentioned earlier, you could repeat the name of God anywhere you are. Anywhere. And when I say anywhere, anywhere. You can repeat the name in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your bathroom, anywhere, in your garden, on your job. There is no special place to call the name of God, Bhagwan. Hari, Bhagwan. Whichever form you pray to God, because Hari, Bhagwan take forms. And if you are a Shiva Bhakt, repeat the name of Shiva. If you are Hanuman Bhakt, repeat the name of Hanuman. If you are the Devi Bhakt, repeat the name. There is no one place, there is no special place. The only way in the name and the time of Kali Yuga is to repeat the name or jap the name of Harinam, the name of Bhagwan. Devotees, Ramayana Katha, Sri Ramcharismanas, Uttarkand, the final pages of Uttarkand, Sri Ram explained to Garuda, and the blessings of God, the blessings of Sri Ram, the blessings of Bhagwan, use me, myself, as an instrument to explain to you the Katha of Kali Yuga. Devotees, is the time of Indian Arrival Day I did mention earlier in the beginning of the Katha. In front of me here is my Aja, that's my father's father. He was born in the year 1887. I visited the National Archives and went in search. So there I got more information about him. And there I saw his name, Ajodha. For some reason, the name spelled wrong, but probably those who have forefathers that came from India, probably their names were also spelled wrong because the British spelled it their way. But never mind, my Aja's name was Ajodha. My Aja lived in Garden Village, Aruka, and he married my Aji. I don't know my Aji, and I have no photo of my Aji, but I can only speak of my Aja. My Aja, together with my Aji in Garden Village, Aruka, they had 5 children. The first, and I will call their names as I know it. The first boy, his name was Puran, and he continued to live in Garden Village, Aruka, married and had children. They have children. The children are very old and they are of age. The second child, his name was Gatan. He lived in Larasus, Dabadi. The third, Yari, he lived in Garden Village, Aruka. The fourth, one daughter, Subhagi, she married and she lived in Karini Savannah Road. And the last son, Navy, and he lived in Larasus in Dabadi. All 5 children died, leaving many grandchildren, great-grand, and probably great-great-grand. The family is very large, and those who are watching the program, my name is Maraj. Sorry, I forgot to mention my father. My father's name was Ramkisun Ajoda. And my father married, and he lived in Old Piaka Road, Red Hill, Dabadi. And that is where I born, and that is where I grew up, and married off into Pajitunapuna. To those who are looking on, I am the grandchild, one of the granddaughters of Ajoda. My Aja died in the year 1962. My Aja died. I must also say thanks to my cousin Sabita and her son Amit, and they lived in Edmonton, Canada. They gave me a lot of knowledge about Aja, and for me to have this picture of Aja, blessings to Amit from Edmonton for providing me with this picture. My other cousin from Garden Village, Aruka, Paratap, I must say thanks and blessings to you for also providing me with the information on Aja. Devotees, as most of you who continue to celebrate Indian Arrival Day, we must not forget the things that our forefathers did for us. They brought with them the Ramayana, the Holy Scriptures, their prayers, their rites and their rituals that they taught us, that up to today we continue to practice. We must also bear in mind of the tools they brought for us. They brought tawa, chimta, pukni, musar, the pestle, sil, lorha, and I am sure you will know of many others. Those are the tools that they brought, and up to today, I am sure many of you have some of those artifacts that you will call it, that our forefathers used and they brought. Not forgetting, devotees, the food, the different types of curries and the different types of foods that on a daily basis we continue to cook and we continue to eat. And now there's a lot of research. There's a lot of research that goes into a lot of the types of different foods that we partake of. And not forgetting a lot of the herbal medicines that they used, fever grass, neem leaf, pan leaf. They will chew the pan leaf. Remembering the tulsi leaf. So many different herbs. When they have a little fever or a little cold or whatever, they will go up into the land and they pick the different types of leaves and they will boil it and make their own tea and they will drink it. The little knowledge they had on their herbs, they will use of it. We must all remember these things, these important things that our forefathers and mothers bring for us, and up to today, devotees, it is with us. We cherish it. And don't forget, always remember one thing, The first footstep. The first footstep. And I have to keep repeating it, devotees, because I want you to remember it. The first footstep that our forefathers and mothers took and placed into that boat, not knowing where they are going. It is called to step out onto the unknown. Are you brave enough to do that? Food for thought. And today, devotees, we enjoy. We are blessed. And sometimes we forget and we just drop ourselves and we say, life hard. Think about those days. Think about those days, devotees. Think about a woman traveling on a boat for 3 months and more. Is there any washroom? Give it a thought and be serious. Think about that. We are happy people. We are blessed people. And we must continue to say a prayer for our departed soul of our forefathers and mothers. Bhagwan, continue to bless their souls wherever they may be. Devotees, at this time, I conclude here. And I want to conclude with one verse of this bhajan. It's a beautiful song. The river never drinks its own water, and the fruit trees never eats its own fruit. Our forefathers, whatever they did, we are enjoying. नदियाँ न पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपना फल। नदियाँ न पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपना फल। अपना तन का मन का धन का जो जो को दे जो जान है, वो सच्चा इंसान है, इस धरती का भगवान है। नदियाँ न पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष न खाए कभी अपना फल। Devotees of God, as we conclude, thanks to Mr. Dev Jamuna for allowing us to use this very wonderful and beautiful temple. And this temple is situated on number 9 First Street, Bamboo Settlement, number 3 Valsin. Thanks to the musicians, Bhai Krish, Bhai Mitra, and by Sister Didi Leela. Thank you all for supporting. And the PA system guy Shayo, thank you very much for having us singing. Wonderful. Devotees, I must say blessings to Pandit Dev Saran Sharma, who has left this earth and he is gone to the great beyond. Wherever his soul may be, let it continue without any obstacles, with health, strength, and happiness, wherever his soul may be. Pandit Desaran Sharma conducted classes at the El Dorado Shiv Mandir in El Dorado. My name, Ina Maraj, was very fortunate indeed to attend his Ramayana classes where I learned Ramayana to You, Pandit Desran Sharma, Bhagwan blessings to your soul wherever it may be. Devotees of God, let us all sit upright, clasp your hands together, close your eyes, and bow your heads as we commence with prayer. As we conclude with prayer. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Mukam karoti vachalam, bhangulang gaite girim, yat kripatamavane, Paramananda Madhava Vasudeva Sudam Deva Kansuchanura Mardana Devaki Paramananda
Krishnam
Vande Jagadguru Tvameva Mata Japita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Jasika Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Blessings, devotees. Continue to flow to Sankhya television. Wherever you are, Bhagwan blessings to Sankhya television for you to enjoy these wonderful and beautiful kathas and the messages through Sankhya television. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace in the heavenly regions. May there be peace in the atmosphere. May there be peace on earth. May there be peace in each and every one of us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bole Syapati Ramachandra ki Jai. Pavanaputra Hanuman ki Jai. Adi Shakti Mahamata ki Jai. Devotees, Jai Jai Sitaram.